Hello you guys, and welcome back to my decluttering series. Today we are going to be diving into this blush and highlighter drawer, which you guys, this is not even it. Hold on. I 100% have way too much product on my hands and I need to get rid of a lot of it in order to just have it in this one drawer. Both the blush and the highlighter. I do not need two separate drawers for either one. It's just way too much product. It's overwhelming. I can barely use it all because it is honestly like kind of intimidating, you know, with all of this product. You're like, what do I use? And then you just tend to gravitate towards the favorite items that you kind of keep out. So I want to change that today. First things first, we got to start with taking everything out the drawer, cleaning it out, and then we'll start talking about some product. So let's do that first. Nice and clean. All right, so first up, let's actually get started with a easy declutter item. So these guys right here are my Wet n Wild Color Icon blushes. Such a good, affordable blush at the drugstore. The good quality, but I just gotta get rid of them. I've had these for several years now, so I can't keep putting them back into my drawer, so they have to go. And you know what? Speaking of Wet n Wild, let me continue with my collection here and show you guys the highlighters that I have. So I have 3 of them. I've got this limited edition one that is the Crystal High. I got the Golden Flower Crown Blossom Glow. I just wanted to swatch them one last time because unfortunately these guys do have to be decluttered. They have been in my collection well over going on 3, possibly more. So these ones do have to go, but oh man, I do love me some Wet n Wild products. They make such good quality stuff for super cheap. But yeah, unfortunately, gotta declutter these guys. All right, but first up in the staying pile, this is the Dominique Cosmetics Cream Blush. I got her in the shade Soft Pink. Such a beautiful color. She is super new to the collection. I pretty much just got her, so she's gonna be going in the stay pile. Another one that is gonna be staying put is my Patrick Ta. This one is the She's Passionate. This one right here is honestly my everyday blush. I keep this one right up top. It is such a beautiful shade. It goes with everything. I love to use it. Wears a long time. She has to stay. Another one that has to stay is my NARS Orgasm Blush. This one is such a fabulous shade. I love how this one shifts from that pink to a gold. It's just mesmerizing. I love this one. She has to stay. Next up to go through is my Ofra collection here. I have 3 different highlighters from them. It is the collab one down here, the Madison Miller. I also have the Nikkie Tutorials Everglow. And the 3rd highlighter I have by them is the Soho highlighter. These are definitely some of the most gorgeous highlighters. They are extremely blinding. Love the colors of them. They're all slightly different, but the Madison Miller one and my Nikkie Tutorials one are definitely my older ones in this collection here. So these 2 unfortunately gotta go, even though I love the look of them. This Soho highlighter, I don't think is that old. Oh, this is actually a collab one too. This is the Talia Mar highlighter. So I had 3 different collab ones. I believe this one is more recent than the other one, so I think I'm gonna keep this one. I actually haven't used it all that much, so I definitely wanna kind of hang on to her for a little bit. Next up, I have 2 of the Balm blushes. I totally thought that these were the exact same ones, but it's not. It's just the Willpower blush. And I have the 2 shades Stamina and Perseverance. I definitely don't reach for these guys all that much. The more purpley toned one, I tend to not really gravitate towards. And then this one kind of reminds me a lot of the NARS one, and I tend to gravitate more towards the NARS one. So I think I am gonna say goodbye to both of these blushes. I'm trying to be very cutthroat here today and only keep what I know I want to use. So gonna say goodbye. Another one that unfortunately has to go is this Tarte Amazonian Clay Blush in Exposed. This was a great little mauve toned blush. You definitely could build it up from this swatch right here. I did thoroughly enjoy having this one, but she has gotten to be very old now in the collection. So I do gotta say goodbye to this one because of that. Another one I'm gonna be getting rid of is this Makeup Revolution. This one is called Set the Tone. This one I am getting rid of purely because I feel like I've kind of outgrown this style of highlighter. This one is definitely a very extreme kind of highlighter, and I feel like I've kind of gotten a little bit more into the softer, more natural kind of glow nowadays. So I feel like this one is probably not going to be used a whole lot by me, so that is purely why I'm going to be getting rid of it. Which, speaking of highlight, I don't really use anymore. This is the Sleek Makeup. It is the viral one from YouTube a couple years ago, the Solstice palette. These shades are super in your face, bold highlights, and yeah, again, I've kind of outgrown this style a little bit here. So she hasn't really been getting a whole lot of use in my collection anymore, so I do think I need to say goodbye to her. Let's add another one to the declutter pile here. This is the L'Oreal Paradise Enchanted Blush in the shade Bashful. I just kind of realized that this one is a little bit too soft for my skin tone to really pop. Definitely a whole lot lighter of a peach, and you kind of have to build it a lot, and you don't really get a whole lot of color, at least on me. So I am gonna place her in the declutter pile. That's been a lot of declutters in a row. Let's talk about one that I do want to keep. This one is a brand spanking new one. This is the Tequila Highlighter. I don't want to mess up saying the brand name, so I'm going to refrain from doing that. But it is the shade Blanco. And this one's just a very gorgeous kind of champagne toned highlighter. She's shimmery without being too overwhelming, and she doesn't have any sparkles in her. So definitely want to keep her. Next up, let's talk about some color pops. So I got one blush, two highlights. The blush, I have the shade No Vacancy. Highlighter, I have Lunch Money. And I also have the shade Pearlized. Since these are the cream products, these ones are a little bit trickier. They are supposed to have a very soft touch feel when you dip into them, and this blush over here does not anymore. This one felt kind of rough. It did still swatch, but it did not feel like it was supposed to, so this one is gonna go. The two highlighters still felt really good. The Lunch Money one I know is an older one in my collection, so she's gonna be going. This Pearlized shade I do believe is a new-ish one. I don't want to say new because it's not brand new, but newer than the other two. It also felt super soft, super creamy, so I'm gonna hang on to that one. Another two that unfortunately I hate to say are gonna be going. These are my two Fenty Beauty highlighters. I had Trophy Wife, an absolute beauty, and I also have the shade Metal Moon. These two I do not want to see go at all, but I know I have to. They are older in my collection, so they can't stay put. I can't hoard stuff. I always talk about how you shouldn't be hoarding the makeup and actually have stuff you want to use. So I gotta stick to my own words here. Oh, hate to see them go. Another one I hate to see go is this guy. This is my ABH Moonchild palette. This one is definitely one of my oldest ones in my collection. I've held on to it because it was one of my first big highlighting palettes. She was so beautiful. I definitely had a phase where I did wear all of my highlighters in this palette. they were just so fun, and I was really experimenting with makeup at the time, so I just loved wearing different shades of highlight. They really helped me express myself, and that's one of the reasons why I've just been holding on to the palette, because it just brings back those memories. But now I just haven't used her in years, and she's kind of just taking up space here from the other makeup. So I think I have to say goodbye. It's time. Oh, but that one hurts. That one hurts. And actually, I should have looped this one in with the Moonchild palette. This is another ABH one. This is the blush kit. The Radiant one. This was a fabulous range of colors for this little palette here. You kind of got it all, whatever the mood may have been that day. This was really all that you needed. But yeah, again, have held on to her for a little bit too long now. But if I were to find this one in the future, I would definitely repurchase her because she was such a good, versatile little palette. Next up, we got some Natasha Denona to talk about. I have this mini Blush Glow Duo. Swatch her up here. And then I have this larger one, the Cupid Cheek Duo. This one is the cream blush and highlighter version. We'll go ahead and put that over here. And actually, it might surprise you, but I do not actually like this last one, the Cupid Cheek Duo. This one, the blush inside of it, the cream one, is honestly very light in what you get as far as application. When you swatch it out really heavily, yes, you do get a lot of product out, but when you use it on the face, it really shears out and you're more left with kind of just like a wash of color, which I know for some is what they kind of want to have, but for me, when I'm using this product, I just want a little bit more of a punch with the color. You have to build it up quite a bit, and for that reason, I don't really gravitate towards that blush all that much. I think I'll have to find someone to gift this one to. This one is super new, so it's still able to be gifted to someone that I know. So I think that's what I'm gonna do for this guy. This one over here, I am gonna keep because this powder one, although it is a very light blush, I do feel like I get more from this one than I did the other product. Even though the swatch doesn't really show it, when you use a brush and apply it, you do get more of a pink look with it. And the highlighter is a super pretty, natural kind of glow. So I'm gonna keep this smaller version, which I think is a pretty good ratio, one in, one out. Another one to get rid of is my Sigma blush. This is the Cor de Rosa. Oh, and I loved this shade. So, so, so beautiful. Love how it's a totally matte blush. I feel like sometimes you don't get a whole lot of matte blushes. They love to put a little shimmer in there. And this one was just so nice in the color. It didn't need a whole lot to build it up, but again, this is one of those ones that's just a little bit older in my collection, so I can't hang on to her. But I mean, I might repurchase her in the future just because I love that color. One that I'm a little bit undecided about is my Too Faced blush here and highlighter duo. Forgot it's a highlighter and blush duo. And this one I'm just a little bit unsure about because it's such a small compact. If you try to only get the blush, it's kind of difficult. You do end up getting some of that highlighter in with it, which, I mean, technically isn't too bad because it does swirl together and make like a very pretty shift with the blush. It has a little bit of that golden shift to her. But then that highlighter on its own, for me, maybe just isn't what I gravitate towards. I don't know. I think maybe I'll pass this one along. This one is more recent, so if I'm not using her, let me give her to somebody else. Another one I have outgrown the style of. This is the Physicians Formula, the Butter Highlighter in the shade Pearl. This is one of those super fun ones that feel like the ColourPop Super Shock ones. I love the way those feel, honestly. You just gotta make sure you really close the packaging tight afterwards. I think I'm just getting rid of my super icy shades, the ones that look like frost in a way. Because again, yeah, just haven't really been reaching for it, so I am gonna part with it. And actually, I have two more products that remind me of the same thing. The Space Case Cosmetics. This is the Scene from Space shade right there. This one is not one of those cream textures though. I always think that it is, but it's not. This e.l.f. Plus One Glow Hider. This one is one of those putty ones. Super creamy. This one's in the shade Moonlight. Pretty similar in the shade here. Hang on, let me bring this one back up just so I can show you. I realized I have a lot of the same kind of shades of highlighter. And yeah, Physicians Formula. Very similar, I would say. And I know I'm saying I have outgrown this style, but I feel like I would be mad at myself if I got rid of all of the ones that looked super icy and fun. I can't be that boring. So I think what I'm gonna do is actually keep the Space Case one. Oh, put that over here and get rid of this e.l.f. Plus one because this one is actually a little bit older and it's the cream formula, so I don't want to risk it being too old and then putting it on my face and then having something happen. You know, you don't want to put old product on your face. It might break out. Although I did love this one, and it actually is a little bit more subtle than it looks because it does blend out really easily. So it was fabulous for that, but I'm just gonna get rid of it because it is that cream. But look at that, keeping one of those icy shades, because so far I'm only keeping 4 highlighters. I have 4 highlighters and 4 blushes. I've gotten rid of a lot of products so far. Next up, let's talk a little Pixi Beauty. I got 2 blushes by Pixi. I have the shade Beach Rose and the shade Peach Parfait. 2 very beautiful yet different blushes. Gonna be hanging on to both of these because they are just so pretty. You definitely don't have to use a lot in order to build up that product. 2 liquid products now that I do need to get rid of. I have the Benefit Cosmetics High Beam and a sample size of this Mary Dew Manizer. And I don't wear a lot of liquid highlighters, but these 2 are definitely my 2 favorites if I were to ever reach for them. I love the colors of them. They look fabulous on the skin, easy to apply, didn't mess up any of the makeup underneath, but these guys have been in here for quite some time now, so that's the only reason they got to go. But I don't know, they might make a return one of these days. This High Beam is my second one, so you never know. A small sample blush here that's gonna be going is the Douce Blush. This guy is the shade Daydream. And there's nothing wrong with this blush. It's just that I feel like this shade doesn't really stand out on me all that much. On camera, it looks a little bit darker than it does on my face. When I apply it to the face, it just kind of gets washed away a little bit. It kind of blends in a little bit too much, so I'm just gonna get rid of it because of that. Another mini collection here that I am gonna be keeping, whoops, all of the blushes from is my Ulta Beauty one. I got a couple different versions of, this one's the Bouncy Blush. Don't actually know what shade name this is because it's from a advent calendar and they don't put the shades, but it's a beautiful little blush. This one's their highlighter. It's one of these little star ones. Then I got 2 of the blush duos, which has 2 different kinds of blushes, one matte and one super sparkly. And then the last one, another blush duo, but these 2 were just matte shades. And yeah, just a super pretty collection of little blushes here, so I definitely want to hang on to those. Also comes in handy to keep those for advent calendar season in case I get some similar ones. Another keeper here is the Alley Oop. This one I just got in my, was it BoxyCharm or Ipsy? I can't remember on the spot here, but it was in one of those boxes. Literally just got it last week. So gonna be hanging on to this one. Does not fit in this container. I will set it there for the moment. Which actually leads me to 2 other products that are pretty new to the collection that I want to hang on to. I got the Charlotte Tilbury Beauty Light Wand in Spotlight, and this one that I also just got last week, the LYS Brave. 2 very gorgeous liquid highlighters. Definitely want to hang on to those. Let me just pop that right there for the moment. And actually, you know what? Let me keep 1 more liquid highlighter. I'm gonna hang on to the Iconic London Illuminator Drops. This one is in Original. I'm not ready to part ways with it yet, so I'm gonna hang on to it. But while we're on the topic of liquid highlighters, there's 3 that I see that I wanna get rid of. This ABH one over here is just a little bit on the older side. This is their Liquid Glow in Peach Fizz. Then I have this Ilamesca sample size. This one is basically empty, so no point in keeping her in the collection. And the Beauty Crop Glow Milk here, this one is a little bit older and I see it kind of starting to separate a little bit in there, so I'm gonna go ahead and part ways with this one as well. Then I actually only have 2 more liquid highlighters to talk about. I have the Grande Glow. This is the Plumping Liquid Highlighter. We got in a BoxyCharm once upon a time. I also have this Wander Catch the Light highlighter, which is a highlighter on one end with this little ball, and then it's supposed to be a glotion, whoops, on the inside there. And these two, although beautiful and unique in their own spin on a liquid highlighter, it's just something I don't really reach for with these two guys, so I think I might as well just take them out the collection now. That way I don't just have them sitting here. And that's actually all of my liquid highlighters, so not bad. Let's keep it moving with the powdery stuff. Oh, and here's one I definitely want to hang on to because it is brand spanking new. This is the Complex Culture Blush Duo. I just got this one. I think it was also like last week or the week before. Very pretty blush palette, and want to hang on to her. Another palette I want to hang on to, this is the Tarte Skin Twinkle Volume 2. Comes with 4 highlighting shades. And this one's one that is just really recent to the collection here, so I want to hang on to her. Lots of beautiful shades in there. And I'm getting a little bit closer to the end here, so I'm starting to see some items that look a little bit similar, so I think I'm going to group them together so that way I don't save a whole bunch of the same stuff. So these ones look kind of similar in my pink tone of blushes left. So let's see what we're working here. I got the Basic Beauty. This one's the shade October 3rd, and this one's one of those fun, like, soft touch kind of putty feels. And then there was this e.l.f. one, the Bright Pink Rose, and then third up, this Milani Flower one. This one's in the shade Tea Rose. Am I the only one that's seeing that they're slightly different? I kind of want to keep all of them, but maybe keeping all of them is a little bit crazy. Although beautiful, I think I might part ways with that Basic Beauty one, just because it looks a little bit more muted compared to the rest of them. Okay, that one will go, and then I have these 2 left. Do I really need both of them? Probably not. I think I'll hang on to the Milani one and part ways with this e.l.f. one. Just because the e.l.f. one looks a little bit more pinky pink and this one looks a little bit more soft pink. But my gosh, that was a tough one. But let's do the same thing here with the last couple of blushes that I got. I only have 5 left for blushes, that is. I got a couple highlighters still to go through. Of these guys, I've got this, I think this was the Flower Beauty one, Peach Primrose. I have this Milk Makeup Stick one. Wait a second. Oh wait, no, this is Cheek 2. It's the Flare Glow Oil Lip and Cheek. I was like, hang on, that's not really cheek. I mean, I guess technically. I also have this Milani one in Luminoso. Then this 4th one is Kismet in Mimosa. And then very last of the blushes here, I got this Wander Beauty one in Double Date. Apparently this is a double one, but it's a balm at the bottom. This is a lip and cheek. And I mean, right off the bat, this last one, I just really don't gravitate towards because of this duo with the balm at the bottom. It's just not something I reach for with both of them. So I'm gonna part ways with that one. Another one I'm gonna get rid of, which I hate to do, is this Flower Beauty one. This one was a gorgeous shade of blush, but I've just lost the top and it's gotten quite damaged and it's been without it for a while now. Also, what I'm gonna get rid of is this Milk Beauty one. That's right in here. It's just a little bit too soft for my preference. Whoops. You really have to use a lot of this product to see anything, otherwise it's just kind of like you get the slightest hint of a little bit of a color on the cheeks or the lips, and it's just, I don't know, it doesn't really feel that worth it for me when I use it, so I'm gonna get rid of that one as well. So then that leaves me with these 2 shades here. And those 2 shades are in here, which look slightly similar, except for the fact that one's a matte and one is a shimmer. I feel like since I got rid of all of the other ones, you know what? I can hang on to those two for a little bit. So then that leaves me with the last of my highlighter, which I think I might do the same exact thing that I did with my blushes here in the end and kind of swatch them all together so that way I kind of have a little bit of easier time picking the ones that I want. So I think I'll start with this batch right there, save these 3, because this batch of 5 here have kind of a similar tone in the highlight. And it's just helping me visualize a little bit better, seeing them all side by side. So first up, we got the Laura Mercier in highlight number 1. We got my big Charlotte Tilbury with a lot of highlight. This one's in Hollywood Superstar. We got this Flush Stick over here in Startle. Fourth up, got the Real Her Confidence in My Glow highlighter. And then last but not least, I believe this one was a Ciate highlighter. It came in one of those paper cartons, and I did get rid of that. They look kind of similar just out here on their own, but when you look at them swatched out, totally different. Totally different. And 100% keeping the Laura Mercier, keeping the Charlotte Tilbury. I will pass on the Flush Stick. I don't really reach that one all that much. The Ciate one, this one is an older one, so I think I do need to take that one away. And then that leaves me with the Real Her right in here. Yeah, I haven't really kept that many highlighters here, so I'm gonna hang on to her too. I've actually been keeping more blushes than I have highlights. And that just seems kind of crazy. Which then leaves me with just 3 highlighters left to look at. Let me move this one out the way. That one's kind of huge and I want to set these down. So let's check these out. I got the LA Girl Glow Up Jelly Highlighter. It's in the shade Halo Glow. Make sure I close that really tight or else all that is gonna go super dry. Then I got one by JB. Well, I might just scoop a little bit out. My finger does not reach in there to swatch it. It's not jelly in texture, but it's one of those soft cream products in the shade Gold Touch. And then third, I have the Artist Couture. Ooh, try to squeeze my finger in there. That one's in the shade Summer Haze. Wow, look at all those golds. Beautiful. This JB one, it definitely reminds me a lot of the Trophy Wife shade. I feel like Trophy Wife might have been a little bit more golden, but I mean, it gives me the similar kind of vibes. But as far as these 3 go, let's be a little bit cutthroat here. I think I'm gonna get rid of the LA Girl Jelly one. And then that leaves me with these 2. Oof. And this might sound crazy, but I think I'm gonna hang on to the JB Gold Touch right here in the middle, because it's like a fun, unique one, and I haven't really kept one of a fun one. So I think I'll hang on to that one, and then I do think I'm gonna part ways with this Artist Couture one now. This one was, now that I think about it, around for the previous Declutter about 2 years ago, so she's probably well overdue for being removed from the collection here, so I think I gotta pull her out. Even though I want to keep her because she's so beautiful, I think she's just kind of reached her time. And now let me zoom you guys out a little bit so you can see the full drawer. Let me quickly organize it a little bit better because I kind of spread things out as I was saving them. That way it looks a little bit cleaner. I did still end up putting 2 on the sides here just because it's a little bit easier to grab these guys standing up. But look at the difference in this drawer here. A lot of it is actually unused now of this compartment. So I would dare to say that I did an amazing job here. I definitely feel like I got rid of a lot of product here. This feels so much better, so much more manageable in what I can actually use as far as the product goes. I did forget to count in the beginning, but I just counted everything up. So originally I did start with 35 blushes, 48 highlighters. Good Lord, that is way too much product. Of the blushes, I ended up getting rid of 21. So I only have 14 left of blushes, great ratio. Highlighter, I ended up getting rid of 27. Again, definitely really great number. I did end up leaving 21. I did kind of forget I did also have that Jeffree Star on the side there that I'm saving. If I don't count those, technically that's minus another 7 because I'm just kind of keeping that to have just in case. So I mean, that would then leave me with 14 in the drawer, which is actually dead even. I was thinking I was getting more blush than I was highlighter saved, but I was not. It's be the exact same number that I'm keeping for both. But either way, in total, I'm getting rid of 48 products that were stuffed inside of this drawer, so it feels amazing. I'm glad we were able to do this together. Definitely got a whole lot more declutters coming your way. But thank you so much for watching today's video. If you liked it, please don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe to my channel, and hit that little bell button. And I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye, guys!